Hey guys, what's up? Going over another PSK or Pocket Survival Kit. Got another request to do it, even though I recently put up an altoids video. They specifically wanted it in an altoids tin, so there you go. A few modifications you can do to the tin is one, poke a hole in the top, use it to make char cloth, or you can take a hammer, lightly hitting the inside of the lid to concave it, creating more space in the tin. Especially if you can't get to close all the way, that's something you can do, giving you a little bit more space. I have a few pieces of duct tape on the top to be used for repairs or whatever I need it for. I have a signal mirror with a protective cover on it, in which I can use to infect self-rescue, or if I got a gash on my face or whatever, I can look at that as I'm treating it. Using the mirror is helpful for that. 2 sewing needles with good eyelets if I'm cold, sleep deprived, dehydrated, hungry. It'd be a lot easier to thread the needle through a large eye in that scenario. So there you go. Having needles with large eyelets will be handy. Of course, to go with that, you need some sewing thread, so there you go. Okay, and you can always find these with like clothing and stuff. You get little sewing kits, or companies try to promote themselves and they give you free stuff. This actually came in one of those. They gave you a sewing kit, or me a sewing kit, and that's what I'm using that for. I have a razor blade for a nice sharp blade, which I can use to skin animals or really gut anything that I caught. 4 Oasis water purification tablets. Purifies 1 liter of water. Put it in. Wait 30 minutes. You got good, clean drinking water, but it won't taste good. That's just with all of these tablets. A 4-gallon trash bag. I can really just use this as a water still. I can use it to wrap around branches and collect condensation. I can waterproof this kit. Use it in conjunction with the condom to carry water. Guys, keep the comments civilized in the comments about the condom. Okay, I've had issues with that in the past. Thank you very much. I have a piece of paper with a pencil, so I can make a journal. I can make a map of my area. I can, write my name if I can remember the date. Maybe I've been lost a few days. Try and remember the date and the direction I went using this orange piece of tape. Tie it or tape it to a rock or tree. And that makes it more noticeable. Now, a white piece of paper with orange duct tape tends to stick out a little, and that can help search and rescue to find me. But the best thing to do is always just stay put. But if you're going to try self-rescue, that's something you want. Antibacterial band-aids. If you don't want to put band-aids, completely understand, but they take up no space. They're virtually weightless. But I mean, if you don't want them, again, I understand. You can always find pine resin and some old man's beard. Put that around your cut, and that will keep out anything that could cause infection to your cut or wound. Adventure medical kits, pocket instructions. I printed these offline from a YouTube user called Peak Survival. She did a review of this Adventure Medical Kit Survival Kit, and she put a PDF link in the description, and I printed it, cut out, and there you go. Survival instructions can be a waste of time for a lot of people, even the most prepared people in a survival situation, you never know how you're going to react. And this will help you. So that's why I have that in there. I have a ferro rod with striker. It's a Coughlin's ferro rod. You know, a lot of people don't like these strikers and tell you to use the back of your blade. This is a Gerber, by the way. This has a 90-degree angle on it, but it's not sharp enough to where I get strikes off of it. Obviously I could do a mod to it with some sandpaper, roughing up the coating, the bead blast that's on here, and then trying to spark it. But I don't tend to use the back of my blades at all. So I have the striker that came with it. If you make a V, as if you were trying to signal with your signal mirror, I use that to strike it. This gives me enough downward pressure to get a good amount of sparks on there. So there's just a V, and I get a good amount of sparks. Don't want to use up my ferro rod, so there you go. Striker goes in. I never actually use this particular part of the striker, which they intend for you to strike it with. Again, this still has the same edge, and I just use that. A little technique I just came up with to help me out. I have a pencil which I can use for that piece of paper I was talking about. Got a little piece of electrical tape here to protect the tip from puncturing anything or just getting little pieces of lead everywhere. And I can use my knife to make this into shavings and use that for tinder or use it to help with tinder. Again, this little blade, little folder, Gerber, made in the USA. I could use something like a PSK fixed blade, which they make to fit in altoids tins because they know how much people make these into survival kits. But the problem with that is you usually only get like an inch and a half of actual cutting edge. So a folder, is just as useful as those. I mean, you're not going to be splitting, large pieces of wood with that one little fixed blade. It is sturdier than a folder, but what you would be doing with that small fixed blade, you can do with this. The only advantage is maybe when you use that small fixed blade to make a spear, it'd be better than trying to make your folder into a spear. But this is a nice drop point design, so if I did lash it, it'd be pretty good as a spear, but again, wouldn't be as sturdy. But you can still do it if necessary. I have 6 ibuprofen tablets. Like with any painkiller, take 2. If the pain's still there or doesn't go away, 2 more. You can take 2 more every 4 to 6 hours. Do not exceed 8 a day. Okay. Of course, you gotta have a fishing kit. So of course I've got one. I have 2 swivels, looks like 5 weights and 3 hooks. So that's quite nice. Let's see, got a small button compass. Should probably go right there. I have fishing line, just enough to get my line into the water. But if I got it stuck or had to cut my line, I'd have to make fishing line or have to take apart my paracord bracelet. I always wear a paracord bracelet in the woods, always do. Always will. They come in handy quite a bit, more than you would think. Just trying to get everything to fit nicely in the tin. Little pair of tweezers, which if you have a small splinter that is bothering you and irritating your skin, it's nice to know that you don't have to use your knife to get it out, especially in that scenario where this is pretty much all you have. You know, the tip of your blade might not be as sharp as you would like it. So it's a nice handy little piece of gear. Trying to make everything fit into an altoids tin or altoids size tin is pretty difficult. But I mean, if I smashed everything down, I have plenty of space in here to add the rest. But alright, condom, like I said, water carrying, that's its purpose. Its only purpose, people. Safety pins, these are small enough in which I can use as spare hooks to use for quick clothing repairs or anything like that. Come on. Just go in, there you go. I have snare wire here. There's about 6 feet here. It's just enough to make 2 to 3 snares depending on the length. But in a survival scenario, you may use this for other things. You just got to be creative and use what you got. So there you go. I have, and lastly, a small book of matches. There's 5 paper matches in here, dipped in wax as of recently. You can take the wax off. It'll just keep them waterproof. But peel the wax off. Take the paper match, split it down the middle. There you've got 10 matches rather than 5. You have a small striking surface, so what I do is I fold this top part here back, and then I use that to sandwich the striker head on the striking pad, and that lets me light it within one strike, saving this small amount of striker that I have. I can always, glue another striking pad to the lid here, but I don't like to do that, especially if I'm going to make char cloth. There you go. In theory, I can add more in here. There's plenty of space to add some cotton wool or something like that. But there you go. Closes on its own. The 2 Ranger bands are to be used to keep this closed if I drop it, and I have 2 because I can always burn one for tinder. If it's raining or something, I can burn this with the match, and I have this other one to keep the lid closed. But that way for you. There you go. Small compact survival kit that you can keep on your person. You contain all the basics there. Not as good as if you had a bigger tin you can fit more into, as well as maybe a better knife, a better signal mirror. You could probably fit a whistle in a bigger tin. But there you go. Thank you for watching. See you next time. If you have any video requests, go ahead and let me know. So, bye.